Hi there, my name is Naya Sanders, and this is my workshop on achieving higher education through multimodality learning. So let's get started. Once again, my name is Anaya Sanders. I'm currently a senior in educational studies with a minor in family and human development. And for today's workshop, we're going to be looking at how we can make education more inclusive through multimodal learning and innovative practices in various different types of learning environments. So first off, we'll be looking at universal design through technology and how we can achieve higher education through diverse platforms for diverse learners as well. And this workshop would technically be taking place in a high school or in a university as well. So some of the other goals and objectives more in depth that we'll go into is explore some of the options and the varieties for educational attainment through technology and digital learning. And this can be through different types of online platforms or assistive technologies as well. So first, we'll go through some of the multimodality of current education, looking at the ways that UDL is being implemented now, and what these platforms and a range of these different practices might look like. And we'll also go over how we can create more inclusive and innovative learning environments as well. That way we can create opportunities for all learners of different backgrounds, abilities, or attainment goals. So the diversity component that we're going to be focusing on today is education. So education is a privilege and also right here in the United States. While we in lower education, we're typically required to go to school. Once we get to higher education, and even if you want to include some of the high school grades, it really depends on the individual, the circumstance, or the environment that they're in that will determine their educational achievement, especially higher educational achievement. There are several factors that affect educational attainment, which can be the location you're in. If you're in a more rural area, finding higher education might be tough. If you're in a more dense populated area, you might have more options for you or more expensive options for you. Class and social economic status also go with that, as well as it does cost money to go to school and to achieve higher education outside of a public school. And so those might be factors. The individual, like I said, there are different particular social and personal factors that might affect someone's achievement or what they want to do. And then the perspective, career, and profession. Depending on what someone wants to do for their career or for their life path will depend on whether they want to pursue higher education and whether they find it valuable or not. Higher education is also particularly diverse as it requires a certain degree of prerequisites and costs. So this basically just means that most colleges or higher education institutions are going to require some type of high school diploma or a GED that shows that you have graduated from secondary school at some point. And there's also the idea, too, that the average cost of tuition for a school to reach a bachelor's degree is around $37,000. And sometimes when it comes to education and as far as making it inclusive, it can be really exclusive if you weren't able to attain your GED or your diploma, or you're not able to access a higher education institution that has a feasible tuition. Also, not to mention that a lot of higher level or higher paying jobs do require an associate's, bachelor's, or some type of higher ed degree. So, going into some more of the current issues in educational diversity and attainment and inclusivity, we have one, cost and attainment. So, this is kind of what we went over again. Higher, going to college, going to university, getting a degree in something like that can cost from between $30,000 to $90,000 to get that particular degree, depending on what school or institution that you go to. Or you can be looking at from $1,500 to $15,000 a semester just to attend a school and to work towards that degree as well. They also have the idea of student debt. A lot of people are deterred from going to higher education because they're worried about the debt that they're going to incur, or they may already be in school and the debt that they are building up is making them maybe becoming more of a burden as they finish, making people sometimes drop out, do a gap within school, prolonging their access to that higher edge and that certification. Some other current issues and just implications in education nowadays is also employer preference. So going back to those prospective careers and professions, a lot of people have the notion, a lot of people have been taught the notion that, okay, you have to get this higher education in order to get the degree, in order to get the good job, the higher paying, to get that experience that you need. However, there's shifting in the workforce where employers are trying to be a little bit more flexible when it comes to those certifications. And nowadays they want to look at more, do you have relevant experience, and can they offer that experience to you as well? You also have companies that are no longer requiring to have a master's or bachelor's degree in those certain areas, and some have just removed education requirements, period, in order to broaden their candidate scope and to bring in more diversity, as more marginalized and disabled groups tend to have barriers from achieving that higher education. And so by doing so, you give them more opportunities. So that's something that we're definitely seeing changing in the professional world and in the educational world, as well as how we can meet that standard. And third, some of the good current issues that we have going on is educational technology. After the 2020 pandemic, there's been a huge shift in switching to online and multimodal learning, which has definitely open the door for a lot of different types of learners, whether you are someone who is in a lower level, such as a young age, or someone who is past typical school age. You still have the option to go back to school now, to take whatever classes, courses you need, and that's usually through educational technology, such as online schools, different types of educational technology, such as computers and devices and things like that. And these different types of modes allow different users to have more flexibility and accessibility to achieving a higher education. So how education, multimodal learning connects to universal design is one, it would definitely, it employs equitable use, flexibility in use, low physical effort, size and space for approach and use, and the perceptible information. So when you have this educational technology or this multimodality in education, you're able to create designs that everyone has access to. You do it on multiple different platforms in different ways. That way people can understand the information from different perspectives, implementing the use of different tools and technology in that as well, give the users the ability, any user, whether you have a disability or you have maybe there's a language barrier, maybe you're not physically able to be at a certain place or to be in a physical classroom. You have this multimodal education, universal design learning would open up that window for those types of individuals as well. And to do a little bit of a definition on multimodality. So multimodality involves using various different methods such as text, images, audio, video to communicate information and just to communicate more effectively across a broad range of needs. So in education, this would combine different learning formats to engage diverse learners and approach and support different learning preferences and enhance accessibility. So meeting the needs of the student by bringing in resources and accommodations. So universal design in the workplace and education can be applied by the use of tools and technologies to enrich learning environments. These technologies can look like learning, online programs, it can be software development, furniture, safety equipment, controls, production tools. Obviously, we have computers, tablets, those types of devices and communication technologies that can enhance the learning classroom and bridge the gaps between all types of learners and those types of users. Um, We can also see for software development, this could also be developing online programs and platforms. That way, you have online classes and courses that can open the door for those types of individuals who need more flexibility or may need different types of visuals. It could also be assistive tools such as speech to text. Tools in courses or within the learning materials, or when it comes to completing assignments. If schools and education offer these types of tools or softwares, then this would also help bridge the gap for some individuals. Assistive technology is another thing that goes into that software development. This could be tablets, speech, text communication devices, where students may not be able to physically do something, or cognitively do something. So then they have these types of, custom, special made educational devices that would help them in the classroom. And then hybrid, synchronous, asynchronous learning facilities. So we've definitely been able to see a rise in this, with this class in itself being a hybrid or being a asynchronous classroom where we're online, but we're still able to come together and share a platform. This is also online learning has also made higher education more flexible and accessible for different types of people and their needs and their schedules and their lives. So some advocates that I have definitely found and been inspired by is ASU in itself. I feel like ASU has been a great advocate for universal design or design and learning. We see here in this classroom, or in this class specifically, and I feel like they had some of the best examples of how they're actively promoting universal design for learning in their own education and their courses within the institution itself. They have teach online courses for teachers where they do training and things like that, which is also a great, I'll have some more information on some of the resources that they use later on. But ASU has developed and worked towards several different initiatives, such as embedding UDL principles in course designs, providing faculty training, leveraging technology to create flexibility and learning environments. I don't know if you've been in some of the new classrooms or newer buildings, where you can definitely see where those different types of furniture, the classroom setup and design is different. You have access to more technology in the classroom, different amenities on online platforms as well that also help bridge some gaps and create better connectivity for students as well. These are definitely some of the ways that ASU was headlining and universal design for learning in their institution right now. So some of the major takeaways and connections that can be made from this workshop, or should be taken away from this workshop, are how can we take education to the next step? We've seen this developing multimodal world of school and how we learn. We now have the internet things or platforms such as TikTok and various different other quick information site technology into the classroom. How can we begin to make the next steps towards making learning more accessible? How can we expand this new world of education and technology? And how can we make it so that everyone, regardless of what your goal is in attainment, whether you have the money or accessibility, by making these different types of technologies and by making our education more inclusive, we can expand and broaden the window for those who may economically have more specific needs, who may have more physical, cognitive, or mental needs for education, for this type of attainment, and then also bridging the gap with employers and the workforce as well, in order to prepare employers, but also prepare students, learners, people who are trying to enter the workforce to be more rounded and understand their options, and seeing how we can create more options for people as well. So some of the opportunities to learn more, we have CAS, which is the Center of Applied Special Technology. This is one of the resources that ASU use predominantly. You also have the Universal Design for Learning Center as well, and then the National Center for Universal Design for Learning. And thank you for watching my video. I really hope to be able to make education more inclusive through technology and how we can create more innovative practices. Thank you for watching.